bit disappointing when you see today's performance, but no surprise, we did have a fantastic rally last week. Is this just a bit of softness in an overall positive environment?
Yeah, I do think so. As we know, the market hit all-time highs numerous times in the last week or so, closed above 34,000, that crucial level on last week Thursday, I think it was, last week Wednesday, Thursday. So I think this pullback is really healthy for the markets. I do foresee a bit of a consolidation around these sort of levels. I don't see more aggressive moves. At one stage we were down about 430 points odd. I see the market didn't close too bad at the end of the day. So I do think that there is still some money on the sidelines. Still a lot of risk on the table though with regards to Greece and Europe. So a lot of people are cautious around that. But
what the currency market is telling us though with regards to the Eurozone crisis, it seems that there's quite a bit of stability that has been priced in at this point. Yeah,
no, it certainly shows that there's a lot of risk on trade. So yeah. And with the currency being so strong and listening to your guest earlier saying that I think it's RMB's view was 720 for the rand at the year end. So it just shows that a lot of market participants in currencies are quite bullish on the rand and expect it to strengthen quite a lot, therefore indicating that a lot of people are interested to invest further into emerging markets and riskier assets like our JSE.
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't take away from the fact that the truth is that there is still a lot of risk in the market with regards to a possible default down the line. But that set aside, news out not too long ago, Wits Gold, Pan-African Resources, clubbing together to buy the Evander gold mine from Harmony Gold in a deal around 1.7 billion rand, 50-50 joint venture. We've got Harmony up 1.5% today. How important is this deal for investors?
Well, I don't really think that's the reason for any of the big moves today on the gold shares. The gold price has had quite a nice move back up, although today it's down, a bit of profit taking or a bit of a move lower on the gold price after its heavy run. Yeah, nice move for PanAf and Wits Gold. It'll put them into the mid-tier gold mining sector, as you said earlier as well. Very small cap exploration businesses beforehand, and now having a big mine with a 10-year time span in terms of mining gold. So nice one that they got in the bag there. 50-50 JV. It shouldn't be too negative on Harmony going forward. I think a nice wad of cash in the bank for Harmony is always good as well. Costs are heavily increasing, so it's good for them to be on the front foot in terms of cash.
With regards to PPC, first quarter cement sales rose by 7%. This is quite optimistic given the fact that at one point it was negative territory. Do you think that the worst is over for PPC and the overall construction sector as well?
Probably yes. I still am of the view that you'll be able to pick up the construction shares at these sort of subdued levels still for a while. I do think also that the construction sector probably has.
When you say for a while, how long do you think?
It could be for the next 6 months to a year. Okay. That's just my view. In terms of PPC, sales having increased by 7%, good numbers or good sales going to Zimbabwe and locally as well in South Africa, and they didn't do too well in Botswana. But it's good numbers. It's good to see the construction sector having some positive sales.
Do you own PPC?
I personally don't know.
Do you own construction shares?
I do actually own Murray & Roberts, unfortunately. They've performed dismally in the last 2 years or so. The share price has been, ever since 2008, it's dropped to around 40 rand. It's actually been trading lower. But it has recovered somewhat in the past 2-3 months off its lows around 22.50, for example. Talking about Murray is now around 27 odd, if I can remember correctly. And yeah, I mean, I'm also a believer in things turn, and the construction sector should at some stage come out of its rut.
You would think that with an expected headline earnings per share number to be as high as 40%, it was matched as 40%, you'd think Bidvest would perform better than what it did today. It's down 0.6%. Do you think the market was not really responding to this news today?
I think more so Bidvest was down on the back of the negative trade on the day. Bidvest also hitting all-time highs in the last week or so, so it's had a very, very strong run up. I think it was in line with expectations in terms of what they're expecting for HEPS. Earnings per share was slightly lower, between 29 and 33% for earnings per share. I just think it was down on the day with the rest of the market, and results perhaps could surprise the market as well. It's a good indication of what the economy is doing, Bidvest. It's quite a diversified business, so I think fairly good numbers.
With regards to Steinhoff, we also saw some news coming through from that company, buying 1/5 of the listed Czech capital in PSG. It's quite an interesting move, yeah. Would you say?
Look, I've summed it up in one of two ways. Yeah. So Christo Visa and 2 other companies who have got a stake in PSG have sold 20% to Steinhoff. Steinhoff last week announcing that they're taking a stake or a controlling stake in JD Group. Yeah. Now, I'm thinking that it's going to be somewhat similar to what Able has done, African Bank with Eleni. So through PSG's stake of Capitec, it could create a nice loan book for JD Group, if that makes sense.
Is this just speculation, or
it's just a speculation? It sounds.
So how would you play these? I mean, how would you play PSG and and Steinhoff?
Again, I don't think it's going to have any effect in the short term on neither of the share prices with regard to PSG, nor Steinhoff, nor JD Group. I think it'll create a nice synergy for JD Group and Steinhoff to have access to PSG or some sort of share switch like they've currently done. Like I said, which will give them...
Do you own Steinhoff?
No, I don't.
JD Group?
No.
PSG?
No.
Capitec?
No.
Okay, so what do you own? Tell us about what you're doing this year and how you're positioning yourself.
Well, in our trading portfolios at the moment, we've also with StockAlert.co, we currently short the banks. Not huge positions. We're taking a slight view that they are slightly overbought at the moment. So we've shorted them towards end of last week. We're looking to accumulate the gold shares at these levels as well. We do think that the gold price will continue to move higher.
But why gold shares? I mean, we know that they've been underperforming relative to the gold price.
They're more short-term trades. It's not long-term or adding it to your equity portfolio. It's really just short-term trades like Harmony. We happen to actually pick those up around 91 Rand. They're trading around 95.40, so that was a good trade. Our target is actually 97 Rand. Our target on StockAlert is 97 Rand, so we're slightly short of our target. We think we could reach it, and perhaps we'd like to see a bit more of a pullback on the resource sector. We'd like to pick up the likes of Anglo's, maybe around 320 Rand if it can happen to pull back there. It's fairly close. It was fairly close at some stage today.
Sitting at 324. It's interesting. Last week was I think at 337, well above 330, and now it's sitting at 324.
Yeah, that's what the whole pullback has been quite healthy. I think it's given a lot of buying opportunities again, and as I said, I think there is some money on the sidelines that perhaps if these issues in Greece and Spain and the whole euro crisis could somewhat overcome this hurdle in the next week or two. I think there's some nice buying opportunities
Daniel, it's
at the
interesting.
moment.
I mean, you said that with regards to shorting the banks, I've actually had a few analysts on the table saying, well, there's been quite a big rotation out of the retailers and into the banking space. Yeah. So you're going against the grain.
Yeah, but that has happened. We are going against the grain in somewhat, but yes, we must also just remember these are short-term trades that we're doing. They're not long-term. We're not looking for a huge collapse in the banking sector at all. I am fairly bullish on the whole sector, and yes, there has been a noticeable move out of some sectors into the financial sector and the banks specifically. So the banks have been very strong. They just are very, very overbought technically in the short term, and we're taking a view that they will pull back slightly, and therefore we've gone short.
Which other stocks are you looking at and waiting for that pullback in anticipation?
We would like Sasol to pull back a bit more.
394.
Yeah, if they can dip slightly below 390, we like them as well. The likes of MTN, although still a lot of headwinds with Iran and Nigeria and uncertainty globally, but at 130 it's on quite a big technical support level. It's in a huge trading range. It's actually right at the bottom of that trading range. So around 130, it traded below there slightly through most of the day, just below 130. So at that level, we like MTN as well.
Fantastic. And then just also give me a sense on the retailers at this point in time. Because, I mean, and I've seen this before where we see a bit of a pullback and then we say foreigners are losing interest because the earnings are not going to look that great, and then suddenly they just keep doing well and doing better and better and outperforming. And
yeah, look, they've done really well, but as things never go up in a straight line. They've had a strong run, and also perhaps some profit taking. The likes of Clicks. I mean, the Clicks has performed dismally in the past month or so. They've just been trading lower and lower and lower. And I just think, again, I mean, when things are overbought, people get a bit more cautious with trading and perhaps look to put money in areas where certain stocks might be oversold.
Daniel.